You know what? Hats off to Dartmouth, man. They came in and gave us everything we wanted. They shot the heck out of the ball, and we knew that that's what they wanted to do. Over 50% of their shots are from three, and we knew they were really talented. And if you let them get hot early, they could give you some trouble. And that's exactly what they did. So they came in with a great game plan. They played really, really hard. They kind of knocked us back on our heels to start, but. I'm really happy with the way our guys just kind of kept their composure and just kept coming. We talk about playing Fordham basketball for 40 minutes. Can't get too high, you can't get too low. And so I thought our guys like Darius Quisenberry and Caleb Moore, they didn't get rattled even when we were down 10-0. Kind of just possession by possession, started to get some stops and get out in transition. So I'm very pleased with the overall effort, but obviously, there's a lot of things that we got to clean up. But for our first game, great crowd. So thank you to all the Ramley around here. It was a fantastic environment. So I'm excited for our guys. Excited for some of our young guys who got a chance to play tonight. Gave us some great minutes. Ramad Dean, I thought, did a great job. Changed the game with a couple of huge offensive tap backs. So really pleased with our performance.
Question?
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
How did it feel to get the first win?
It feels good.
Too.
I appreciate that. It feels great, man. It's just it's an incredibly proud moment for myself, for my family. I had a lot of them come up from Washington, D.C. today. I think 7 out of my 10 family members, immediate family members, were here, and a bunch of friends. And so I'm excited to get that. Unfortunately, my father couldn't be here. He's out of town, but there's nothing that makes me more proud. I can't wait to call him tomorrow and tell him, give him an update on the game. And I know he's chomping at the bit. So I'm thrilled, but I'm more thrilled for these guys, man. They've been working really hard since June 1st. A lot of commitment and sacrifice to Fordham basketball, to me, the staff. And so that's we were just really excited to finally get an opportunity to play against someone. So to get the first one and have it be at home is pretty exciting.
Is your team going to be this 3-point shooting team? Because it seemed like in the first half that was a lot of both of your points coming in.
Yeah, you know what? I would have liked to have prevented some of theirs, but that's the thing. We have a ton of depth. We just talked about it in the locker room. On any given night, we got 10 or 11 guys who can play and play a good amount of minutes. But a number of those guys give you an opportunity to spread the floor because they can make some open shots. So obviously that's big for us. I thought we got hot a little bit early, but our staple is defending and rebounding, and we got to do a much better job. Get back to work. Grind the defense out. We fouled way too much tonight, so that's something obviously we're going to have to clean up headed to Arkansas on Friday.
Coach, you talked about in the preseason how you have a lot of guys, speaking of that versatility, have a lot of guys that can guard 2 through 5, and we saw that tonight, a lot of switching around on defense, a lot of guys moving in the paint and moving out onto the perimeter, switching assignments. How important was that in your defensive efforts? Yeah,
you know what? Against a team like that that's constantly searching for threes, our whole game plan, even though it didn't look like it in the first half, was to switch high, give up some twos if that's the way they wanted to play, because really that's not their game plan. That's not what they do. So we wanted to try to take them out of rhythm. Having the versatility of a bunch of guys who can play multiple positions, it's hard because it takes the team out of their offense, right? So they need some guys who can kind of create off the dribble, create their own shots off the dribble. And a lot of those guys are more catch and shoot, which they got some in the first half because we weren't communicating. We messed up on a few switches, but we tightened that up in the second half. And obviously having the ability to switch 1 through 5 is really, really nice.
About the play of Moore.
Khalid. Yeah. He played great, and we've been talking about it all preseason. He's had a tremendous summer. He's not used to an advanced role, right? So he's kind of been a role player for the most part, and he's been very good in that role at Georgia Tech and everywhere else he's been in high school. He always played with elite kind of one-on-one players, and he was just a great team player. So when he came here, he knew he was going to have to take a much bigger role for our program. With a 1-2 punch like him and Darius, we feel like we have a lot of versatility, and he brings that both at the 3, at the 4. He can play the 5 if we want to play small. So really pleased with his effort tonight.
How important was it to get off to this kind of start offensively?
You know what? We've talked about that. You know, Ryan. We had a bunch of conversations about how we were 300 and something in the country and 327th, I think, in offensive efficiency. I don't want to have that defense, but I sure love what we were able to do offensively. Obviously, Dave Paulson has brought a lot of good organization and detail to our offense, but we also have a lot more guys who can come in and make plays not only off the dribble, but obviously catch and shoot. So very pleased with it. I don't want to be trading baskets every night, but it's nice to know we can put that many points up.
Coach, how impressed were you with Quisenberry's physicality, able to fall to the floor a number of times, still get up, still put up 20 points, his toughness in the game tonight?
Yeah, you know what? Darius has he's been fantastic in the last several weeks, specifically with his leadership and his toughness, buying into what we call attitude club, and that's just being gritty, not really caring what you look like. What that means is diving on the floor, taking charges, being physical, doing whatever it takes to help our team win. He's nursed a bunch of different injuries over the last several months, so I think for him it was nice where he kind of got nicked up and danged up throughout the game, and he felt pretty good. There were no lasting injuries, so it was nice to see. I didn't want to play him 35 minutes, I got to be honest with you, but I know he wants to play 40. So for us, we got to do a better job of mixing and matching some of. But we got in foul trouble early, and that kind of we had to play him a little bit more. But really pleased with his performance.
Andrew Charlton had a really good mid-range game going tonight. How important for him is that going to be to continue going forward?
Yeah, I think he loves Carmelo Anthony, right? That's his favorite player, and he studies all his 15-footers and his footwork. And Antrell is like a Swiss Army knife. When we had to go small, we put him at the 4 spot because he knows everything, right? So that type of trust that we have in him, knowing that he can play all 5 positions, he knows everything we're trying to do, both defensively and offensively, and he's just a calming presence. Really high IQ, but he knocked down a couple of great 15-footers. Now, on defense, we want to force tough contested twos. It's not the shot that we really want to take on offense, but that's right in his bread and butter. So he works on that. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Coach, your front court, you talked about foul trouble, throughout the game, but also they were very physical tonight. A lot of blocks all around, from a lot of your forwards. Where do you want to encourage that physical aggression, and how are you trying to, make sure that while they are being aggressive, they come off cleanly and avoid foul trouble like that?
Yeah, you know what? I think obviously Rostic got in foul trouble early. Abdu, that type of offense is really difficult for true 5 men, which I think Abdu is, right? He's more of a post defensive player, but he's capable of switching. But a lot of fast movement pitches and rub screens and blur screens, as we call them, that's really difficult, not only for any big, but a big who's a foreign big who struggles with the language, and he has to pick up things really quickly, and he's done a great job developing. But for him, it was just the speed of their pitches and knowing, constant having to play on the perimeter and contest shots. And then, so he got worn down a little bit. I think we were standing behind in the post way too much, and as a result, we left our feet on some shot fakes that typically, we wouldn't do. And then later, in that last 4 minutes, he did a great job of just holding his ground and chesting him and just staying down on his shot fakes, being a second jumper. And with his elite athleticism, he has an opportunity to be one of the best defensive players in the Atlantic 10. That's what we believe. So with Rostic, Pat Kelly, and Elijah, we have a bunch of bodies that we can bring in and be a little bit more physical. We just got to do our work early, and I don't think we did a great job of that tonight.
Thanks, guys.
I just have one more question.
Oh, yeah,
Go for it.
Noah wasn't dressed tonight. Is there any update on how he's doing right now?
Noah's been ill. So Noah's been ill. He's had a respiratory virus for a couple of weeks now. And actually, he was just at practice for the first time 2 days ago. So he's not allowed to play for at least another 4 or 5 days. So we'll see. We'll reevaluate him this week and see what's going on.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.